Hi, I'm here now, ready to talk to you about e-publications. E-publications is electronic publications, and these can be read or viewed on many of the Adobe e-readers or e-readers in general. You'd want to check Adobe's website for the proper e-readers through the Adobe InDesign 2020 if you need specifics. Um, I'm going to show you how to take your portfolio file and turn it into an EPUB. These techniques can be applied to your career setting, and they're a great way to be able to send and share files. So in this case, we're going to work with our portfolio, and if you wanted to email this to someone to take a look at their, your portfolio for your skill sets, this would be an option. So I'm going to launch my previewer. We go into our interactive under window to EPUB interactive preview. And then we're going to set up some metadata first. So we're going to go to File to File Info. And here, you'd want to add your document title to your file. So in this case, I put my name in Portfolio. In the description, I put my name in Portfolio 2020 EPUB example. The keywords, I place those in here. And I put a copyright on here, and I just wrote today to kind of protect your work. So this gives it the creation date and the modification date on this particular file as well. So if you had anything in here that you were worried about sending it out, your work would have a form of copyright to it. Another step is to go to File to Export. So I'm going to go through export. There's two types of EPUB. One is reflow and one is fixed. I always choose fixed. The reflow, it kind of moves your graphics around, and they don't set correctly. So I am not choosing that as an option. But when you go to export and save, or go through the process for saving, this dialog box comes up for the fixed layout export options. In general, it'll tell you what the version is that you're working with, what pages you would want to do this to. So you could be custom here and say you want to only do all the odd pages or the even pages. In this case, we're going to do all. The cover will have a rasterized file image for the page for the cover. I don't have any navigational pieces in here, so I'm going to choose none. I'm going to choose this spread control based on document setup. Some conversions here. I'm going to choose this 150 pixels per square inch because it'll load faster. If I wanted a higher res, I could change that to 300. I believe 150 is set up as the default, but this will increase your file size if you go larger. There's JPEG options for the progressive or baseline. Image quality is high. GIFs are adaptive. There's cascading style sheets, so if you did any cascading style sheets, you could add them on here. So you could actually upload if you did any of this. Now this has to do with the web. You could add any kind of JavaScript that you may wanted to have in here. Here's the metadata that came through the file info. So this gives the description, name, today's date, and the subject. And the viewing apps, I'm going to do the system default, which is iBooks on this Mac. I could add other applications to this to help me. So if I had a Kindle, I could choose like Kindle, and I would want to add those publisher viewers in. I would have to download those to be able to add those in. So I'm going to say okay. I'll go back to general, say okay, and this will take a little while to build. But the value in this is to kind of increase your portfolio and knowledge capabilities to show that you can do electronic publications when using InDesign. This isn't a one and done scenario. You'd probably want to experiment with this a couple times, maybe even changing your page sizes and layout within your portfolio. Um, I want to say that the pre-work on my EPUB for my portfolio took about an hour to go through and make sure that everything was correct. Because when you save this, things may not flow correctly, and you may have to do a little bit of fine tuning. I have a bad link on one of my images where it's not a great picture. So you can see that my iBooks was jumping up and down. It's trying to load the page. And we'll take a look. This is also a kind of like a preview as well. And then this just launched the iBook. And it's trying to populate my book here. So if you hit other books in here, I downloaded a free one from Adobe. And then this was the example that we did in week 3. Here's my new one. So if I open this, here's the navigational pieces, and I'm going to get rid of those thumbnails. This adds the little thumbnails. So this is what you could email out. This gives a little example of who I am. You get the border line here with the pages, so it kind of delineates between pages so people can see your work. So it's a nice way to electronically produce your work. You get an idea of how to set up e-publications. One strange thing it did with my book design here, these pages were longer as a rectangle, and what it did is it just gave me white space on the bottom here. So there's really not a lot you can do about that, but this gives the viewer the idea of how this particular book would navigate through. And then I did one where the book ended, and then I paired it up with a 8.5 by 11. So I just wanted to show you the comparisons between the two. And then I have some examples of other pieces that I did. This one came out very soft because this image went in as a JPEG. It didn't come in as the Illustrator file that it was created with. So I just wanted to show what a soft focus would look like. These other images are fairly clear. If you zoom in on these, I have to kind of zoom in and to look at the quality. I don't know if you can see it as well, but these are some other pieces for marketing and Illustrator. I did all these full pages. This one was an 11 by 17 tabloid in a landscape view, and I resized it down to an 8.5 by 11. So I could add a little bit of written dialogue down here to kind of explain what I was doing with these particular projects. I have an issue here where these two don't line up. So on my next save, I'll try to clear that up so that these kind of line up better with one another. It's that type of detail that will help sell your project, and that's kind of what you do for that. For this EPUB preview, this is another way to preview your work, and then this is built right into the Adobe, and you can actually play these previews to kind of go through your pages and navigate through the system that they have here. So you get the idea of navigational uh, processes with these previews as well. So that's built right into uh, InDesign if you would want to use that instead. So we have the iBook on this Mac, and these are the files. I just wanted to show you how these were resized. Um, and how it was saving these files and how these two ended from one to the other. So this is what I meant by the sizes. So this booklet was just really copy pasted, and then I resized the images with the page tool to like change these particular pages. So you use the page tool, you can change your width and height um, to whatever you need them to be. And that's an example of e-publishing. So I hope you like this video, and I hope you do well with your design. Your next step will be to take your work and to publish it. So there you have it.